Okay, I've got number 10 in GymBed Explorations Month, and then we'll finish answering that question from the prior post. I have this child's pose, palms up child's pose, as the first mod that I did. It's worth repeating. It's also one of my favorite drills or poses to do, and the benefit of doing it in bed, if you have a firm pillow especially, is that we get to prevent our nose being squished to the floor when we put our forehead down. Okay, so two things: we have the pillow lengthwise so that the length of the arm could go on the edge of the pillow, and then we have the bottom edge of the pillow in which to rest our forehead on so that we could bring the head all the way down and not worry about, like I said, smooshing your face. Okay, no smooshed faces here. So we're going to palms up along the edges, okay, and then bring the forehead down and relax into this stretch. Okay, so you'll feel your chest drop, you'll get your thoracic spine stretch, as well as all the way down to your lumbar spine, and of course your hips as well, especially if you're able to keep your hips down towards your ankles. Okay, so your ankles are feet to the sky or to the ceiling. Now the other thing to do, especially if you're doing it without the pillow, but either way, is to move diagonally with this drill as well, so that you get a slight different. So you just walk the hand out, you can move the pillow away here, and you get also a little stretch through the sides. Okay, of course we'll do the other side, and you could just alternate and come back to center, and actually you'll be holding it for longer than that. You could stay in this pose for quite a long time, and if you're going to be in a pose for a long time, then go ahead and try to breathe only through your nose. Okay, nasal breathing on something like this. Okay, so that's basically the gist of the exercise. Now let's answer that question of my answer on if you could send a message to telepathically to every human being in the world, what would it be? So mine's not really, profound. I mean, I actually didn't think about it beyond the answer that I had initially come up with, which is that for everyone, whatever age or stage or phase that they're in, to enjoy it. Of course, this is easier said than done. However, okay, we have, especially as adults, we have repeated examples of how people think literally like a month or a year later that, they'll think today, oh my gosh, I'm lamenting, the loss of my youth, and then like a year later they say the same thing about the year before. We have plenty of examples like that. We have plenty of examples of people being in different physical, mental, spiritual stages, even when they're the same age, right? So there's many examples of how we're not really locked in to feeling anything necessarily. Of course, biologically, the trend is a decline. We have wear and tear. We have biological breakdown, right? Entropy. But on the flip side, we also know that our mentality, our emotional state, and all of that affect us physically as well. Now, if you're much younger and you don't have the benefit of experience, you still can look ahead and see all of these examples. But I know, still easier said than done. So one of the ways that you can, because when I say enjoy everything, I also mean enjoy the negative things. Okay, so one of the ways that you can enjoy whatever age stage and phase you're in right now is to look on the negative side. Meaning, if you're, for example, saying, oh, I wish I had the energy, right, of whatever, 10 years ago, my younger self. Or if you're young and you're like, oh, I wish, I could drive and be free on my own. Well, what you would do is you would think of either the opposite, or you would think of what is it that you don't have that's negative, or that you see as negative from these other ages and stages. So, if you can't drive and you're bummed about that, and that's strictly mostly just an age thing, you think of, well, at least that means that I won't get in an accident, or I don't have to pay for insurance, and I don't have to take my car to the maintenance, or have to deal with DMV. I mean, there's all these things that you can realize that there's work involved with everything. So if you're then on the older side and you're missing something from youth, think of all the negative things that you no longer have to deal with. Or you could look also ahead, and at least you don't have I don't know, Alzheimer's. You know what I mean? Just take all of the things that you are at right now. So obviously this really just incorporates the idea of being present and mindful, right? But being mindful, it doesn't just mean being zen or being ultra aware. It really means like an appreciation, right, at that time. So even when there's negatives, even when there's I wish this wasn't that, even when you have all of those things that have to that revolves around wherever you are right now, just enjoy it. Just enjoy where you are, and just remember that every day you're always younger than tomorrow. But also, it's all overrated. You know what I mean? I mean, everything is either underrated or overrated, it seems, right? Because we want to be able to really just take things for what they're worth, right? I mean, there's just so many benefits and advantages to every stage. I mean, I'm excluding the very, very, the really, really young kids, but, preteen, teenager up, this is what you could do for the rest of your life. I mean, just to super enjoy everything, right? So that's really the the overall message. Not just enjoy whatever stage you're at, whatever age you're at now, but really just enjoy everything, right? And it's not that hard. It really isn't that difficult. Maybe you need to cultivate a mindset to be able to see the advantage of things, but it doesn't require, rocket science. It's not rocket science to be able to kind of take a real good look at all the sides